Hi there, Chris van den Kerk here. When we are talking about going green, we ultimately end up at a place where it's not just the small things that we can do to go green, but also the larger things, the things that has an impact on our finances. And up to now, it was very difficult to justify the expenditure on something like solar systems. And what I've seen when I installed my own solar systems and I got into the solar game a few years ago, um, the information out there is a little bit dodgy. A company would either say you have to go off grid and it's going to cost you R500,000, or they have these terminology that is so confusing. You don't know if you're going to get your money back, and it's this black hole where you think your money is just going to disappear in. And that's something that I want to move away from. I think in the modern day there is horses for courses. You can get a system that suits you for exactly what you want to do. For example, if you buy power from Eskom and you're a large energy consumer, you have a factory, you pay different rates at different times of the day for your energy. Now, someone like Blue Nova have battery systems that have inverters in them, and they can link in and out of the power grid to only use power when power is available cheaply. And that's just one way of doing it. So they're leveling out the peaks, and the money that you save on that side actually pays for your batteries. And at the same time, those batteries act as UPS. So you have battery backup power, and they go to container size of batteries on these things. 1 megawatts is nothing funny. So you have extremely large systems for factories and farmers. If you're a farmer and you want to have a backup battery system for your farm, then there is systems available. You use Eskom, but you use your battery to trim out the peaks, to reduce the cost of your energy, and to act as a UPS. But for most of us sitting at home, we think, oh, it's going to cost me R500,000 to change the house and go over to a solar system. And you don't realize that it can actually cost you a lot less. So you always start at the beginning. And the beginning is this love letter that you get from your municipality once a month. This little love letter that says you owe the municipality so much for rates and taxes, and so much for your electricity, so much for your water. And if you use something like your rates and taxes, you can start understanding where your money is going. And for many of us, we can actually save on this bill and do it in a cost-effective way. And the first step is to analyze that. So what I do to start with is to come to your place and give you an analysis of your consumption of power, and to see what we can do to reduce that. It would either be a solar geyser installation, or it would be solar power, or it would be a UPS system. So I will analyze your needs as you need it. What I do is part of the fee that you pay me for the analysis, I use these meters that we plug into your outlets, plug in your consumers on the front, and this device will record what is consuming power and what not. We plug it all over the house. We look at the areas that we want to eliminate, or maybe switch to solar, or do this or do that, and we can do a full analysis and have a good understanding of, are you in a good position to go solar or not? Do you have the right direction to the sun, with good sun availability, with all of those things? Do you have a nice place to put your electricity system? And we go through the whole lot, and we make a plan as to how do we go forward. Is it worth going forward? Is it not worth going forward? How much can we save? How long will it take you to pay off your batteries? Typically these days, the guys are looking at around 15 years. A system must pay itself off in 15 years, because solar panels are pretty much guaranteed for 25. The batteries these days are guaranteed for 10 years. The inverter systems that you fit, you expect to last 15 years plus. So anything beyond 15 years is a bonus. It's free. So they work on 15 years to pay this this kit that you buy in 15 years. Quite often you actually buy it and pay for it quicker than that. Eskom's tariff increases are looking more and more, and I don't think it's going to get any better, so we have to brace ourselves for the cost of energy to go up. And it's one of those things that we just need to understand. So let's start in the beginning. Drop me a mail, give me a call, and tell me that you want to start analyzing your power system. You'll send me a copy of a typical a few statements that you got from the council, and that will give us an idea of what you're paying for power. I'll do a survey of your property as to what is consuming power, and typically we will take these items and we will just install a few around the house or the property for a few for a week or so, and understand exactly where the power is going. From there we can go to step number 2, and step number 2 will be how big must the system be. And you can go everything from off-grid completely with battery backup for 7 days, very expensive system, completely off the grid, or you can go to a grid-tied system where you are using the grid but only half of it. So let's say I tell you that I can save you 1,000 Rand a month on your electricity bill for a cost of 750 Rand a month. Then there's a saving involved. But to get to that point, we need to do the investigation. So we will then decide we just want to do the TV and the modem on a battery backup system or on a solar system so that it runs independently from Eskom, for example. Or we want to do it with all our fridges, or there's a cooler in the back that needs to run off solar, or something like that. There's many ways in which you can shape your power consumption going forward. You can also start at a smaller area and do something small, and then eventually open it up to a larger system as we go along. So it's not necessary to do the 500,000 Rand investment straight up. You can start with something small and then grow it as your needs and your requirements grow. So give it a shot. Let's do the analysis. Let's do the quotation. Let's understand where you want to go with power, and you start from there. From there, we can install solar panels for you, inverters, battery banks, all of that stuff is available. It's a question of picking the right one, deciding how big it needs to be, deciding what you want to do when you expand, and go from there. So give me a call and let's see if we can do something about it. Cheers.